أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام را تلك آيات الكتاب المبين. Now this Surah Yousaf, which comprises of 111 ayat divided into 12 sections. This Surah al-Mubarakah is very peculiar in many respects. One aspect I told you that now these surahs which are following, Makki surahs, they are 14 in number, starting from Surah Yunus, ending with Surah Al-Mu'minun in the 18th part. These are 14 surahs. And 12 of them are in subgroups of 3 surahs each. Among every group there are 2 surahs which are like a pair, very similar to each other, reciprocal to each other. All those things, they exist, those points of similarity also and reciprocity also. But one is peculiar, which has no pair. So here we found Surah Yunus, Surah Hud, alayhi salatu wassalam. They were a pair, a very beautiful pair, a complete pair. Similarities, reciprocities, all present. But Surah Yousaf is a peculiar surah. It is unique in many respects. Number one, it is unique that whole of this surah contains the story, or we may call it the biography, of one prophet of Allah. Whole of it. Quite a big, quite a sizable surah, 12 sections. But except a few ayat in the beginning and a few ayat in the end, whole of the surah is devoted to the story of Hazrat Yousaf alayhi salatu wassalam. And that is the title of this surah, Surah Yousaf. Number 2, there is only one example more in the whole of Quran, which is devoted exclusively to one messenger of Allah. No mention of anyone else in that, and that is Surah Taha. That is also included in this very group. Surah Taha will come after Surah Maryam. This is also, in that 2/3 of that surah, nearly 2/3 is occupied by the story of Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Now what is peculiar? During the lifetime of Hazrat Yousaf, Bani Israel entered Egypt. And at the time of Hazrat Musa, they came out from Egypt. So one full surah devoted to that incident, and one surah devoted to that incident of Exodus, as they call it. The book of Exodus is a very full book in the Old Testament. But the difference is, Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam was a Nabi, not a messenger. You won't find in the whole surah that type of thing, you believe me, you obey me, if you don't obey me, if you don't believe me, justice will come to you, you will be exterminated. Nothing of this. Just like, a saint, a very pious person, a very, so to say, waliullah, a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only difference being, I told you, the only difference between Nabi and Wali is that to Wali, well, revelations don't come. Nabi, to Nabi, revelations have been coming. That's all. Otherwise, their behavior is very similar to each other. They must, all the awliya Allah, they have been making da'wah to people so that they become good. Ya'muruna bil ma'ruf, yanhauna 'anil munkar. All these things they have to do. This is actually absolutely natural, logical. But no special appointment. فَذْهَبْ إِلَىٰ فِرْعَوْنَ إِنَّهُ طَغَىٰ. Now this is an appointment. Go to him. Actually, that is now a Nabi when he is appointed to a particular people, to a particular region, to a particular city. Now he becomes a Rasul. Now his behavior is absolutely different. You have to believe in me. You will have to obey me. أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونَ وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا بِرَسُولٍ إِلَّا لِيُطَاعَ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. So the conduct of Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wassalam, Hazrat Yousaf alayhi salatu wassalam is a very beautiful example of a person who was a Nabi only, not a Rasul. And the difference in their behavior, in their attitude, very remarkable. Third thing about this surah which must be mentioned in the beginning is that this surah was revealed to answer a question which was put to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam by the Quraysh of Makkah on the instigation of Yahud, the Jews of Medina. Ask him, what were the circumstances in which Bani Israel went to Egypt? They didn't belong to Egypt. Why did they go there? What's the history? What were the circumstances which led to their going to Egypt? So this question was put to the Prophet ﷺ. Now this whole surah was revealed, but in a very beautiful way. So that not only the question was answered, But a mirror was shown to the Quraysh at Makkah. What happened to Yousaf is going to happen to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You are plotting against him. لَيُثْبِتُوكَ or يُخْرِجُوكَ or يَقْتُلُوكَ. Should we kill him? Should we imprison him? Should we expel him? This was the consultation going on at Makkah. The same way, the brothers of Yousaf, they were also discussing among themselves what to do, how to do away with this person, Yousaf alayhi salatu wasalam. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will stay in Ghar Saur. And Yousaf was thrown in a well. But from Ghar Saur, Muhammad went straight to Medina, and he entered Medina as an unthroned king. In the same way, from this well, Yousaf was taken out, and he entered Egypt, and in course of time, he became the most powerful person in that country. And in the same way, that the brothers of Yousaf had to stand before Yousaf in humiliation. One day will surely come when you, O Quraysh, will be standing before Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he will say to you the same words as Yousaf said to his brothers, La tasrib alaykum illahu. Izhabu fantum at-tulaqa. So history is repeating itself. Then there are very different issues also which we shall discuss. But these basic points must be noted before we start the study of the text. Alif Lam Ra, the third surah, consecutive surah, which is starting with these three letters, Alif Lam Ra. Surah Yunus, Surah Hud, before this, also began with these. And I pointed out to you, these letters here are not counted as an ayah. Alif Lam Mim in Surah Al-Baqarah, Alif Lam Mim in Surah Al Imran are counted as one ayah. Alif Lam Ra is not. But it is not based on any principle of logic, any principle of grammar, nothing of that sort. It is all tawqifi. As the Prophet said, we take it. Tilka ayatul kitabil mubin. These are the ayat of a book which is very clear, manifest. Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan. We have sent it down as an Arabic Quran. Now, ho, what is this pronoun, objective mood of the pronoun? The real book is there. Filahim mahfuz, kitabim maknoon, fi ummul kitab ladana al-aliyyun hakim. Now, when we have sent down it to you, we have made it a book, a Quran in Arabic language. We don't know what language is there. Allah's language, actually we don't know. But had this Quran been revealed to any other nation having another language, it would have been revealed in that language also. Taurat was given in Hebrew. Injil we don't know, absolutely don't know in which language it was revealed. Because we don't find any original text of Injil in Hebrew, nor in Aramaic, nor in Syriac. And these are the only three languages which could be the original language of Injil. But no copy, no text is to be found. The earliest copy of Injil is a Greek translation. Now, Injil could not have been sent down in Greek, because Greek was not the language of the area where Hazrat Masih ﷺ lived. So it couldn't be that. It would have been Greek to them, as we say, idiomatically. It's all Greek for him. It would have been Greek for them. So actually, it must have been sent either in Hebrew or in Syriac or the Aramaic language. But they don't claim to have any text in those original languages. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down, Inna ja'alnahu, we have made it Qur'anan Arabiyyan. A Quran, Arabic Quran, la'allakum taqilun, so that you may understand it. Who are they, you? The people of Arabia, who were the first addressees of Quran. To them, the advent of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was al-bi'satul khassa, exclusively special, advent was for the people of Arabia. Nahnu naqussu alayka ahsan al-qasas. We narrate to you the best narrations. Bima awhayna ilayka hadha al-Quran. With that, what we have sent down to you, and we have revealed to you this Quran. وَإِن كُنْتَ مِن قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ. Surely, before this, you are also absolutely unaware, from among the unawares. Just as your nation didn't know, you also didn't know. إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ. Now, who is Yusuf? Please note here, you must be knowing. Son of Yaqub, who was son of Ishaq, who was son of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. So grandson of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Grandson, we should say. Is qala Yousaf li abihi. Who is Abi? And he is Yaqub alayhi salatu wassalam. Ya abati inni ra'aytu ahad ashara kawkaban wa shamsa wal qamara ra'aytuhum li sajidin. Oh my father, I saw in my dream, in my vision, 11 stars and the sun and the moon prostrating before me. Qala ya bunayya la taqsus ru'yaka ala ikhwatik. He said, the father said, oh my son, dear son, don't relate this vision of yours to your brothers. There were 11 brothers of Yousaf. 2 of them, they were the youngest, Hazrat Yousaf bin Yamin, and they were from the same mother. The elder 10, they were from different mothers, but they were one group. And they were all united against these 2. Because being the youngest, they were more dear. They were more focus of attention of father, Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salatu wassalam. So they had developed a jealousy. So that was, the cause of that enmity, that jealousy. قَالَ يَا بُنَيَّ لَا تَقْصُصْ رُؤْيَاكَ عَلَىٰ إِخْوَتِكَ فَيَكِيدُوا لَكَ كَيْدًا. They will plot against you and devise against you a plot. إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لِلْإِنسَانِ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ. Verily, Satan is for humans, for mankind, a very clear enemy. وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ. Now he is giving what was the interpretation of this dream. You will be chosen. Out of my sons, you will be chosen as Nabi. Ijteba and istifa, these are 2 very closely related words. That is why we use 2 words about Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ahmad Mujtaba. And both have very similar connotation. To choose someone, to select someone. But there is a difference in choice and selection. But I can't go into detail. So this ijtiba and istifa is for the prophets. وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ. And this dream shows that you will be chosen by your Lord, وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِنْ تَعْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ, and He will teach you the interpretations of all things. Ahadith, usually people think that visions and dreams. No. Hadasa means anything which happens. Hadisa, an accident. Whether it is an accident or an incident or a saying. Hadithul Rasul. Hadithullah. فَبِأَيِّ حَدِيثٍ بَعْدَهُ يُؤْمِنُونَ. This is Hadith of Allah. So all the sayings, all the statements, all the incidents, all the accidents, all the dreams, all the visions, they are all included in this word ahadith. He will teach you the interpretation and to reach to the basic thing in every statement, in every saying, in every dream, in every vision, in every imagination, etc., etc. وَيُتِمُّ نِعْمَتَهُ عَلَيْكَ وَعَلَىٰ آلِ يَعْقُوبَ. And He will perfect His blessing on you and the progeny of Yaqub. كَمَا أَتَمَّهَا عَلَىٰ أَبَوَيْكَ. As He perfected it on your forefathers min qabl, before. Ibrahim wa Ishaq. That is Ibrahim and Ishaq alayhim as-salatu was-salam. And he didn't name himself out of humility. It was not good. He should have named himself also. Ibrahim wa Ishaq wa Yaqub. But he was himself speaking, so he omitted his name. Inna rabbaka alimun hakim. Verily, your Lord is all-knowing, all-wise. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسَفَ وَإِخْوَتِهِ آيَاتٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ. Verily, in this story of Yousaf and his brothers are signs for those who are asking. They will see a mirror. A mirror will be presented to them because the Quraysh asked the question. Actually, those who instigated were the Jews. But to Prophet ﷺ came the Quraysh. Now actually, both of them, the Quraysh as well as the Jews, they had been given this mirror. You can see your picture and you can see the picture of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The role, the same role as of Yousaf is now today of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the role that was of the brothers of Yousaf is of these chieftains of Quraysh and the Jews of Medina. إِذْ قَالُوا لَيُوسُفُ وَأَخُوهُ أَحَبُّ إِلَىٰ أَبِينَا مِنَّا. When they said, verily Yousaf وَأَخُوهُ أَحَبُّ إِلَىٰ أَبِينَا مِنَّا. Yousaf and his brother are more dear to our father than us. وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ. Although we are a strong group. Now this word usbah, strong group. We are a strong group. So actually, he should love us more. We can protect him. At any time of emergency, we can come to his help. So he should show more affection towards us But what we see that he loves these two youngsters who can't be of any help. Inna abana lafi dalalim mubin. Verily, our father seems to be in a manifest error. Uqtulu Yusufa. Avitrahuhu ardan yakhlu lakum wajhu abikum. Now either kill Yusuf or expel him into some other land, so that the attention of your father now becomes exclusively for you. The same thing. لَيُثْبِتُوكَ أَوْ يَقْتُلُوكَ أَوْ يُخْرِجُوكَ. Either they should imprison you, or you kill you, or expel you. The same thing. اقتلوا يوسف أو اطرحوه أرضا يخل لكم وجه أبيكم وتكونوا من بعده قوما صالحين. And after that you become the righteous man, you know. So this is a usual thing which our nafs tells us. Well, you take this bitter pill, then you can repent. You can mend your ways. Afterwards, you become a good man. But at this time, you have to do it. Although it is very bad, it is something wicked, it is something haram, it is forbidden, but I have to do it. So take this bitter pill at this time at least, but then later on, you become righteous, you become the all gentle. قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ لَا تَقْتُلُوا يُوسُفَ. So said one who said from amongst them, don't kill. لَا تَقْتُلُوا يُوسُفَ. Don't kill Yusuf. وَالْقُوهُ فِي غَيَابَةِ الْجُبِّ. You just throw him in some well. يَلْتَقِطْهُ بَعْضُ السَّيَّارَةِ. He will be taken from there, taken out from there by some caravan, travelers. In kuntum fa'ilin, if you are bent upon doing something. You know, among them was also some saner's advice. He was the eldest, and he said, he was the most gentle among them. First of all, don't kill. And if you are bent upon doing it, because now we are a group, if majority of you want to do something, I can't resist. But if you are bent upon doing something, then only you throw him some well, so that some caravan comes. When they will draw water, Yusuf will come out, and they will take him to some other land. قَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا مَا لَكَ لَا تَامَنَّا عَلَى يُوسُفَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَنَاصِحُونَ. They said, oh, our father, what's with you? What's the cause? That you don't trust us regarding Yusuf, alayhi salatu wassalam. وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَنَاصِحُونَ. We are most sincere well-wishers to him. You think we are enemies to him? No. We are most sincere. We are his well-wishers. But you don't trust us. أَرْسِلُ مَعَنَا يَرْتَعْ وَيَلْعَبْ. Send him tomorrow with us, so that he should eat and play. We are going out hunting, so he'll play. وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. And we shall be protectors. We promise we shall protect him. قَالَ إِنِّي لَيَحْزُنُنِي أَن تَذْهَبُوا بِهِ وَأَخَافُ أَن يَأْكُلَهُ الذِّئْبُ وَأَنْتُمْ عَنْهُ غَافِلُونَ. He said, it very much grieves me. Maybe that you take him with you, and then you become unaware of him, heedless about him, and some wolf comes and eats him and devours him. As if he himself gave the hint what to do and what to say. قَالُوا لَئِنْ أَكَلَهُ الذِّئْبُ وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ إِنَّا إِذًا لَخَاسِرُونَ. They said, oh, father, look to it. We are a strong group. 10 of us, 11 now, because Benjamin is also to go with us. Now, in our presence, if a wolf can come and eat him and devour him, then we are in a loss. We are nothing. We are meaningless then. فَلَمَّا ذَهَبُوا بِهِ. When they went with him, took him out, وَأَجْمَعُوا. That is mean, أَجْمَعُوا كَيْدَهُمْ. They gathered, their will and decision, and they agreed upon it. أَن يَجْعَلُوهُ فِي غَيَابَةِ الْجُبِّ. That they should put him in that depths of that well. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ. And we put it in his heart. Now wahi here, it is not the wahi of Nabuwah. أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ. It is just like the wahi to the even honey bee. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so yuhi rabbuka ila nahl. In the same way, it's an inspiration, not revelation. We inspired him. لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا. Oh Yusuf, don't fear. A time will come. You will tell them that they did this to you. You will inform them what they are doing. وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. And they are knowing nothing what they are doing. Or they will not be absolutely knowing that you are Yusuf. It's a reference to know what will happen in the end. That you will tell them what you did with Yusuf. So actually in this there was a solace for Yusuf. You will not be killed. You will not be wasted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthened his heart. Take heart. We are with you. A time will come when you will inform them what they are doing to you today. وَجَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ عِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ. And they came to their father at the nightfall, weeping. قَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا إِنَّا ذَهَبْنَا نَسْتَبِقُ. And they said, "Oh, our father, we went away racing with each other. وَتَرَكْنَا يُوسُفَ عِنَّا مَتَاعِنَا." And we left Yousaf with our goods, our clothing, etc., goods. فَأَكَلَهُ الذِّئْبُ. And a wolf ate him up, devoured him. وَمَا أَنْتَ بِمُؤْمِنٍ لَنَا وَلَوْ كُنَّا صَادِقِينَ. And you are not going to believe us. Although we might be absolutely truthful, but you will never believe it. وَجَاءُوا عَلَىٰ قَمِيصِهِ بِدَمٍ كَذِيبٍ. And they brought on the shirt of Yousaf alayhi salatu wasalam false blood. قَالَ بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ أَمْرًا. Hazrat Yaqub said, your minds have enticed you to invent this matter. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. So for me, it's the time to have patience and beautiful patience. He could be hot, he could be furious, he could abuse them. Everything could be done. But sabrun jameel, beautiful. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. You know, as the command came to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا يَقُولُونَ وَاهْجُرْهُمْ هَجْرًا جَمِيلًا. So you have patience on whatever they are saying, you have to bear it. And you should, leave them. But this leaving should not be it should be in a very beautiful way, so that you can meet again. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. And only Allah can be called for help on what you are describing. وَجَاءَتْ سَيَّارَةٌ. And as the brother had said, a caravan of travelers came. فَأَرْسَلُوا وَارِدَهُمْ. They sent ahead their water drawer. فَأَدْلَى دَلْوَهُ. And that person, the water drawer, he sent down his bucket. قَالَ يَا بُشْرَى هَذَا غُلَامٌ. And he said, oh, congratulations, good tidings. There we have found a youth. هَذَا غُلَامٌ وَأَسَرُّوهُ بِضَاعَةً. And they hid him as a merchandise. So now we can sell him. We can make money from him. So they hid him. وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِمَا يَعْمَلُونَ. And Allah knew what they were doing. And Allah himself intended that it should be done, because he had to be taken to Egypt. How could he go by himself to Egypt? The caravan was heading towards Egypt. وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ. And they sold him for a paltry price. A few counted dirhams. وَكَانُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الزَّاهِدِينَ. And they were very ascetic regarding the demanding of their price, because they had not paid anything. It was just free for them. Had they paid some money, they would have included that cost and then added to that cost their own profit. But here they found it without any price, so they accepted a very low price also. وَقَالَ الَّذِي اشْتَرَاهُ مِن مِصْرَ. Now we come to Misr. Now some of the Egyptologists, they have fixed the year of the entrance of Yousaf into Egypt as 1890 before Christ. And it seems to be like that, because 2000 years or so, 2000 plus, was the era of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. 2000 plus before Christ. And now because he is the great-grandson of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he was 17 at this age when he was thrown in the well and he was taken out and then he was sold. That was the 17th year of his age. And it was the year 1890 before Christ. وَقَالَ الَّذِي اشْتَرَاهُ مِن مِصْرَ. Now they brought him to the market of the slaves in Egypt. And said the person who bought him, who purchased him in Misr, in Egypt, لِمْرَاتِهِ, to his wife, أَكْرَمِي مَثْوَاهُ. Make his lodgings goodly. أَسَىٰ يَنْفَعْنَا. Maybe that he gives us some benefit. We can sell him for a higher price. أَوْ نَتَّخِذَهُ وَلَدًا. And it can also be possible that we adopt him as a son. They didn't have any son. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ. And this is how we establish Yousaf in the land, fil ard. It was a cradle of civilization. It was an empire. And this person, he was Al-Aziz. so to say, the chief executive officer, maybe in our terminology, the prime minister, or the senior minister in the system of, for example, in French system, chief minister. So he was having a very big position. And now he was lodged in his house, and people were coming over there, high gentry, aristocrats coming, and talking, and he was listening to them. So actually he was trained over there for all the political affairs, all the affairs of community, and all what are the problems, how they are set, how they are, resolved, how can they be solved. So all these things, because he was lodged in the house of the chief executive of Egypt. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلِنُعَلِّمَهُ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. Being there in that high society, at that house, because whenever some visitors would be coming to Al-Aziz of Misr, he would call upon Yousaf, okay, bring this for him and for them, and serve them, and so on. So he was always listening to what was happening. In that way, he gained the capability of interpreting all things. Something is appearing to something else, and behind is something else. To know what is behind it, that is the Ta'wilul Ahadith. You go to the root, to the background. What is the real cause? What is the underlying cause? So that is actually Ta'wilul Ahadith. لِنُعَلِّمَهُ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ وَاللَّهُ غَالِبٌ عَلَى أَمْرِهِ. And surely Allah is all powerful over His command and over His decisions. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. But most of the people don't know it. They think what we are doing is best, and it will happen as we are designing it and devising it to happen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may use your ill designs against a person in a way that it becomes beneficial for him. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. When he reached his maturity, about 18 or 19 years of age, mature, آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. We gave him the judgment and the knowledge, the wisdom and the knowledge. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And in this way, we reward the people who do good or who are best in their deen. وَرَاوَدَتْهُ الَّتِي هُوَ فِي بَيْتِهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. And the woman in whose house he was, she tried to seduce him sexually. وَغَلَّقَتْ الْأَبْوَابَ. And she closed the doors. وَقَالَتْ هَيْتَ لَكَ. And said, come on. قَالَ مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ. He said, my refuge is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I take refuge in Allah. إِنَّهُ رَبِّي أَحْسَنَ مَثْوَايَ. He is my Lord, and He has kept me here in the best of the ways. My lodging in best way. Now there is a different opinion. Rabbi means either Allah or the master, because the master who has bought him. This was also an idiom of that time, that he is the Rabb, he is the Lord. This will be used by Hazrat Yousaf alayhi salam to his two companions of the prison. And this word is used for your king or your master, Rabb. So this Rabb has a very broad meaning. Rabbul Mal, the owner of the capital. Rabbul Bayt, the owner of the house. So actually the Rabb, he was the master, the Aqa, to whom he was the bondsman, because he had bought him. Innahu ahsan rabbi mas. I can't do this against him. You are his wife, and he kept me in the best of the ways. Innahu la yuflihu zalimun. Verily, the evildoers can never prosper. وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا. And certainly she besought him. He would also have besought her. لَوْلَا رَا بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ. Had he not seen the burhan of his Lord, of his Rabb. Now what is that burhan? Generally it is said that there was a miracle, that on the wall appeared the figure of Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam, and he forbade him, don't hold to yourself. But Abdullah Yusuf Ali has explained it in a very different way, and I think it's a beautiful way. I can't say that it is the only way, but it is a beautiful way. She was blind with passions and emotions, but Yusuf was spiritually, he was seeing. So actually this was the burhan. He saw Allah, because spiritually he believed in Allah. She only thought that nobody is seeing, because I have already closed the doors. And she was blind due to passions. But Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, because he believed in Allah, who always sees, you are always in his sight. So that was the burhan according to Abdullah Yusuf Ali, and Allah better knows. كَذَلِكَ لِنَصْرِفَ عَنْهُ السُّوءَ. And it was so that we should turn away from him the evil and indecency and all shameful acts, وَالْفَحْشَاء, and all shameful acts. إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Verily, he was from among chosen bondsmen. This is not mukhlisin. Some people have mistranslated it. Sincere. Mukhlis is something else. Mukhlas is something else. Mukhlis is ismul fa'il. And mukhlas is ismul maf'ul. And he was one of those whom we have chosen. Wastabaq al-bab. Both of them raced towards the door. Hazrat Yousaf tried to run away. And she chased him. وَقَدَّتْ قَمِيصَهُ مِنْ دُبُرٍ. In this chase, she caught hold of the shirt, definitely from the backside, min duburin, and it was torn. وَأَلْفَيَا سَيِّدَهَا لَدَى الْبَابِ. And it came to happen that they found the Sayyid, the master, the husband of that woman. He was on the door. Now, look to the intelligence of this woman. قَالَتْ مَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ أَرَادَ بِأَهْلِكَ سُوءًا. She said, oh, what should be the recompense of the one who tried to have something bad and ill with your wife, who tried to assault your wife? Illa yusjana, except this, that he should be imprisoned, aw azabun alim, or some other painful torment. Qala hiya rawadatni an nafsi. Yousaf said, it is she who tried to seduce me sexually. Wa shahida shahidun min ahliha. Now this is very important. Both of them, two just persons, they appear to be very just. Now a person from her family, min ahliha, belonging to her family, he gave a witness, he gave a testimony. In kana qamiso qudda min qabulin. If his shirt is torn from the front, fasadaqat, then she is correct. She is telling the truth. Wa huwa min al-kazibin. And he is from among the liars. وَإِنْ كَانَ قَمِيصُهُ قُدَّ مِنْ دُبُرٍ. And if his shirt has been torn from the back, فَكَذَبَتْ, then she is telling a lie. وَهُوَ مِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. And whatever he is saying is true. وَلَمَّا رَأَى قَمِيصَهُ قُدَّ مِنْ دُبُرٍ. And when he saw that the shirt of Yousaf alayhi salatu wasalam was torn from the back, قَالَ إِنَّهُ مِنْ كَيْدِكُنْ. Immediately he said, oh, to his wife, oh, it is from your machinations, from your guile. Inna kaidakunna azim. Verily, the machinations and guiles of you women are very great. Yousaf aridan hadha. Now he appealed to Yousaf. You just ignore it. Don't mention this to anybody. Just keep quiet about it. And just ignore it. Yousaf aridan hadha. Wastaghfiri li zambiki. And he said to his wife, and you should beg pardon of your sin, of your ill deed. Innake kunte min al-khati'in. Verily, you were the evildoer, and you were the guilty. وَقَالَ نِسْوَةٌ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ امْرَأَةُ الْعَزِيزِ تُرَاوِدُ فَتَاهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. Now this news broke and reached that higher society, because the aristocrats in that society, the wives, now they were talking to each other. قَالَتْ نِسْوَةٌ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ امْرَأَةُ الْعَزِيزِ تُرَاوِدُ فَتَاهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. What has happened to this wife of this chief minister, prime minister, chief executive officer? She wants to seduce her slave. قَدْ شَغَفَهَا حُبًّا. Verily, he has incited in her aroused in her intense love for him. قَدْ شَغَفَهَا حُبًّا. إِنَّا لَنَرَاهَا فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. We see her. She has gone very away from and very manifestly in error. فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنَّ. And when she, Zulaykha, the wife of that chief minister or Aziz of Misr, when she heard about makrihinna, their malicious talk, arsalat ilayhinna, she sent for them all to a banquet. وَعَتَتْ لَهُنَّ مُتَّكَانِ. And arranged a banquet for them. وَعَتَتْ كُلَّ وَاحِدَةٍ مِّنْهُنَّ سِكِّينًا. And gave to every one of them a knife to cut the fruits, etc. قَالَ تُخْرُجْ عَلَيْهِنَّ. And he then commanded to Yousaf, now come out before them. Maybe for service or something else. فَلَمَّا رَأَيْنَهُ. When all of them saw him, أَكْبَرْنَهُ. They exalted him very much. وَقَطَّعْنَا أَيْدِيَهُنَّ, and they cut their hands. Now, not by mistake. Please note. قَطَّعْنَا. قَطَّعَ يُقَطِّعُ تَقْطِيعًا. It is from tafheel. It can only be willfully doing it. Each one of them wanted to draw the attention of Yousaf to him. It's just possible that one might have cut by mistake. And because Hazrat Yousaf, he turned to her, attending her, so every one of them cut the fingers or hand intentionally. قَطَّعْنَا أَيْدِيَهُنَّ وَقُلْنَا حَاشَا لِلَّهِ, and they cut their hands in amazement and exclaimed, Allah blameless. حَاشَا لِلَّهِ مَا هَذَا بَشَرًا. This is not a mortal human being. In هَذَا إِلَّا مَلَكٌ كَرِيمٌ. He is none but a noble angel. قَالَتْ فَذَلِكُنَّ الَّذِي لُمْتُنَّنِي فِيهِ. Now she said, this is the one about whom you had been blaming me. وَلَقَدْ رَاوَدتُّهُ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. And surely, indeed, I tried to seduce him. فَاسْتَعْصَمَ. But he held back. He held himself. He abstained. لَإِن لَمْ يَفْعَلْ مَا أَمُرُهُ. And if he is not going to do what I am asking him to do, لَيُسْجَنَنَّ. He will definitely be put in the prison. وَلَيَكُونًا مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ. And he will become the degraded, from the degraded ones. Now, hearing all this conversation, Hazrat Yousaf is hearing it. Now he turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in prayer. قَالَ رَبِّ السِّجْنُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا يَدْعُونَنِي إِلَيْهِ. O Allah, O my Lord, prison is more preferable, which these women are calling me. يَدْعُونَنِي. Now here is again plural. Not only that wife of Al-Aziz, but all these women. The society was corrupt. The higher society, that was absolutely corrupt. What is happening to the royal society of Britain, royal family of Britain? All these stories, you know. Along with the confessions, clear confessions, on the media, throughout the world. So actually, she was not very much ashamed of what she did. She clearly said, yes, I did it. But he held back. He abstained. He didn't respond. But now, if he doesn't respond in future, I am bent upon it. And if he doesn't respond positively, he'll be put in prison. Now what he said, رَبِّ السِّجْنُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا يَدْعُونَنِي إِلَيْهِ. O my Lord, prison is preferable to me than to what they are calling me. وَإِلَّا تَصْرِفْ عَنِّي كَيْدَهُنَّ. And if you don't turn away from me their machinations, إِلَيْهِنَّ, it's just possible that I might incline towards them. وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ. And then I will become from the ignorance. I'll be the loser. You know, after all, I am a human being. And seeing, to their machinations. They can go to the extent of cutting their hands so that I can have any attention towards them. So maybe if they continue, one after the other, maybe I might slip. أَصْبُ إِلَيْهِنَّ. Maybe I incline towards them. فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ. So his Lord accepted his prayer. فَصَرَفَ عَنْهُ كَيْدَهُنَّ. And he turned away from him their machinations. إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Verily, he is all listening, all knowing. ثُمَّ بَدَا لَهُم مِّن بَعْدِ مَا رَأَوُا الْآيَاتِ. And then it came to occur to them. It appeared to them to be advisable. Even after seeing all these signs, he had seen for himself, the chief minister, what had happened in his house. He knew it. He had himself said, you are guilty, to his wife. And he had said to Hazrat Yousaf, Aridan Haza, now just ignore it. Let it go away. But now they thought, and this is actually the public safety now. For the public safety, he must be put into the prison. Because we can't hold back our women. So it's better that he should be put in the prison. These are the laws, safety laws in so many countries. The TADA, TADA in India. And there's going to be, and it's under legislative process, undergoing different stages, the Omnibus Anti-Terrorist Act. Anybody, any American, either a citizen or an alien, if he's a citizen, he could be put to prison without proving any charge against him. And if he is an alien, he can be just turned out from the country without proving. Now, nothing was proved against him. ثُمَّ بَدَا لَهُم مِّن بَعْدِ مَا رَأَوُا الْآيَاتِ لَيَسْجُنُنَّهُ حَتَّىٰ حِينٍ. It is better, more advisable, to put him in the prison for some time to come. وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ. And with him entered the prison two youths. قَالَ أَحَدُهُمَا. One of them said to him, إِنِّي أَرَانِي أَعْصِرُ خَمْرًا. I see in my vision myself pressing wine. وَقَالَ الْآخَرُ. And the other one said, إِنِّي أَرَانِي أَحْمِلُ فَوْقَ رَاسِي خُبْزًا. I see in my vision, in my dream, that I am carrying bread on my head. تَأْخُذُ الطَّيْرُ مِنْهُ. And the birds are eating from it. نَبِّئْنَا بِتَأْوِيلِهِ. Tell us the interpretation of this dream. إِنَّا نَرَاكَ مِنَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. We see you to be a very good character man. You are a very good man. You don't seem to be a criminal like ourselves. In the prison, all others are criminals, but you are a different type of person. You seem to be a very gentle person, knowledgeable person. So actually, if you can, please tell us the interpretation. قَالَ لَا يَأْتِيكُمَا طَعَامٌ تُرْزَقَانِهِ إِلَّا نَبَّأْتُكُمَا بِتَأْوِيلِهِ قَبْلَ أَن يَأْتِيَكُمَا. He said, the food which comes to you, which is given to you every day, the ration in the prison, now today, when that food is given to you, before that time, I will tell you the interpretation of your dreams. What does it mean? He wanted to borrow some time, to buy some time. Because now they had turned to him, he wanted to preach to them the truth of the deen. Because after all, he was son of a prophet, Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam. He was fully grown. He was 17 when he was taken away from his home. So he knew his great-grandfather Ibrahim and his grandfather Ishaq and his father Yaqub, and what is the creed, what they believe in it, and what is the belief that he had. So he wanted to preach it. ذَلِكُمَا مِمَّا عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي. And this is from what my Lord has taught me. He is not taking the credit for himself. This is another thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught me these things. He kept me there in the house of the chief minister. I was there in that society, topmost society. I had the occasions to learn things, to interpret the things. But all things were arranged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody could have done it to me without His command. ذَلِكُمَا مِمَّا عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي إِنِّي تَرَكْتُ مِلَّةَ قَوْمٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ كَافِرُونَ. I have left the creed of those people who don't believe in Allah, and also they reject akhirah. They don't believe in resurrection. They don't believe in the hereafter. وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَائِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. And I have now consciously, although he was a son or a grandson or a great-grandson of the prophets, but now, when he comes of an age, now this is actually a conscious rejuvenation or revitalization of faith. Conscious. So he says, وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَائِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. I have decided to follow the creed of my forefathers, my fathers Ibrahim and Ishaq and Yaqub. مَا كَانَ لَنَا نُشْرِكَ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. It's not worthy of us. It's not befitting for us that we should associate anything with Allah. ذَلِكَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ عَلَيْنَا. This is a grace or bounty of Allah to us. He made us superior to every other creature. On us means especially on Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub and me, but on the all of humanity, because they were created as vicegerents of Allah on earth. And all the angels were made to prostrate before Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. We should now associate certain things with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and try to start worshipping them. It's not befitting for us. ذَلِكَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ عَلَيْنَا وَعَلَى النَّاسِ. And on all the people, all the mankind. وَلَكِنْ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَشْكُرُونَ. But most of the people are not thankful. يَا صَاحِبَيِ السِّجْنِ. O two of my companions in the prison. أَرْبَابٌ مُتَفَرِّقُونَ خَيْرٌ مِنَ اللَّهِ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارِ. You think for yourself. Are so many scattered gods better? Or the one, Allah, the one who is all powerful, who controls everything, who has power over everything. If you have to serve so many masters, is it easy? To serve one master, it's very easy. What are his priorities? What are his preferences? But if you have to serve two, maybe their preferences and priorities clash with each other. To whom to serve and whom to deny? You will be in a fix. So, arbabul mutafarriquna khayrun, amillahul wahidul qahar, ma ta'buduna min dunihi illa asman sammaytumuha antum wa aba'ukum. All these gods whom you are worshipping, leaving alone Allah, leaving away Allah, besides Allah, they are not except only names which you have named and concocted and invented. You and your forefathers. Ma anzalallahu biha min sultan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not sent down regarding any of those, any authority. Inil hukmu illa lillah. Sovereignty, the command, the absolute right of obedience is to Allah and Allah alone. Inil hukmu illa lillah. Amara la ta'budu illa iyyah. And He has commanded that you will not obey, you will not worship anybody except me. Zalika ad-deenul qayyim. This is the straight deen. This is the right system of life. Walakinna akthara an-nas la ya'lamun. But most of the people know not. Ya sahibay as-sijn. O two of my co-prisoners. Amma ahadukuma fayasqi rabbahu khamra. As for one of you who saw that he was pressing wine in his vision, the interpretation which Yousaf told him that you will be freed and you will again be restored to your position and you will be pouring out the wine to your lord, to your king. Now here Rabb for king. Wammal akhar, and the other one who said that I saw myself carrying some bread on my head and the birds were eating from it. Wammal akhar, to him he said, he will be fayuslabu, he will be crucified. Fatakulu tayru min rasihi, and the birds will be eating from his head. Qudiyal amrul ladhi fihi tastaftiyan. This is the decision of the matter about which you wanted to have inquiry and you wanted to have the opinion. وَقَالَ لِلَّذِي ظَنَّ أَنَّهُ نَاجٍ مِّنْهُمَا. And he asked the one about whom he had thought that he will be freed and he will be saved. Uskurni inda rabbik. You just remember me and mention me in the presence of your Lord, the King. Tell him that a person is there in the prison, innocent, he has done nothing. He is there, a prisoner. فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ ذِكْرَ رَبِّهِ. But Satan made him forget, and he didn't remember that Yousaf had said to him that he should mention him to his king. فَلَبِسَ فِي السِّجْنِ بِضْعَ سِنِينَ. So he remained in the prison for a number of years. Now these number of years are said to be 10. When he came out from the prison, he was 30. He was 17, they say, when he was thrown in the well, and then he was taken to Egypt. He remained 3 years at the house of Al-Aziz, the chief executive officer in that government. Then he was imprisoned and remained in prison for 10 years. So when he came out, he was 30. وَقَالَ الْمَلِكُ إِنِّي أَرَى سَبْعَ بَقَرَاتٍ. Now this is after about 10 years what is going to happen. Now between these two ayat, there is a gap of 10 years regarding the dates of the incidents. قَالَ الْمَلِكُ. The king said. Now who was this king? First thing that is to be noted is that he is not Fir'aun. Faraina was the title of the kings who belonged to the soil of Egypt, the local nation. The people having their own system and they were having their own kings and those were called Fir'aun. But actually this king was of the Amalekites, Amalekah. They were from the Arabian desert. They had invaded Egypt and they were governing Egypt at that time. And he was a Semitic in his origin. The Egyptians are said to be the progeny of Hazrat Ham, the second son or the third son of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam, not Sam. But people of the Arabian desert and of Iraq and Sham, they were the progeny of Hazrat Sam, Semitics. So they were Semitics, they had invaded Egypt and they were ruling there. So as if they were the alien rulers. And that is why they are not called Fir'aun. And they say that his name was, they are called Hyksos kings, and the name of this king was Apophis, and his capital was Memphis. وَقَالَ الْمَلِكُ إِنِّي أَرَى سَبْعَ بَقَرَاتٍ سِمَانٍ. And the king said to his chieftains in his court, I am seeing inni ara. And this means he saw this vision repeatedly. سَبْعَ بَقَرَاتٍ سِمَانٍ. I see 7 cows, fat ones, يَأْكُلُهُنَّ سَبْعٌ إِجَافٌ. And they are swallowed and devoured by 7 who are very lean. وَسَبْعَ سُنبُلَاتٍ خُضْرٍ. And I see in my vision 7 ears of corn which are green. وَأُخَرَ يَابِسَاتٍ. And another 7 which are dry. يَا أَيُّهَا الْمَلَوْ أَفْتُونِي فِي رُؤْيَايَ. Oh, my chiefs, now tell me about my vision. In kuntum li ruyaya ta'burun. If you are the interpreters, if you know the expounding of the visions. قالوا أضغاث أحلام وما نحن بتأويل الأحلام بعالمين. They said they seem to be mixed up false dreams, and we don't know the interpretation and expounding of this type of dreams which are mixed up, have no reality behind them. وقال الذي نجا منهما. Now that person, the 2 prisoners, and the one who was freed and he was now serving the king, he was to pour the wine in the cup of the king. وَقَالَ الَّذِي نَجَا مِنْهُمَا وَادَّكَرَ بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ. And now he recalled after this long period of time. Oh, Yousaf was there and I asked the interpretation of my dream and he could tell it. And then he had told me that I should mention about him in the presence of the king. وَادَّكَرَ بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ أَنَا أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِتَأْوِيلِهِ فَارْسِلُونَ. I will be able to tell the meanings and the interpretations or the expounding of this vision. So you send me forth to Yousaf in the prison. Now when he has reached the prison, he says, Yousaf, O Ayyuha Siddiq. O Yousaf, the true one. Ayyuha Siddiq. Aftina fi sab'i baqaratin. Now give us your verdict. In the vision of 7 cows, semanin, who are fat. Yakuluhunna, they are being devoured or eaten up, swallowed, sab'un ijafun, by 7 cows who are lean. Wasab'i sumbelatin, and about 7 ears of corn, khudrin, which are green. Wa ukhara yabesatin, another 7 which are dry. La'alli arji'u ila nas, so that I may return to the people, la'allahum ya'lamun, so that they can know what is the meaning and interpretation of this dream of the king. قَالَ تَزْرَعُونَ سَبْعَ سِنِينَ دَابًا. He said, Hazrat Yousaf ﷺ said, you will have normal harvest, usual harvest for 7 years. فَمَا حَسَّدْتُمْ فَذَرُوهُ فِي سُنبُلِهِ. So whatever you reap, you keep it in the ears. Don't take them out. Don't take the corns out. This was the way to preserve it. إِلَّا قَلِيلًا مِمَّا تَأْكُلُونَ. Except the little that you eat. Whatever you require, the daily rations, you take out from the ears, the rest of it, let it be as it is. ثُمَّ يَأْتِي مِنْ بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ سَبْعٌ شِدَادٌ. Then after that, 7 years will be of hardship. يَأْكُلْنَ مَا قَدَّمْتُمْ لَهُنَّ. Those 7 years will eat up what you had stored for them. You will be storing for 7 years. The excess crop will be stored. Keep on storing them. And now when you will be drought for 7 years, you will eat up the stored grains. Now, illa qalilan mimma tusadun, except a little amount of it which you will have to preserve for the next crop, as to use it as seeds for the next crop. Summa yati min ba'di zalika. Then again, after those 7 years, the year will come, fihi yughasun nas, on in which the people will have rains. وَفِيهِ يَعْصِرُونَ. And in that year, they will be pressing wine. There will be crop and there will be greenery and everything will be okay and you will be pressing wine. Now he came to the court. He told the interpretation of the vision to the king. وَقَالَ الْمَلِكُ أُتُونِي بِهِ. Now he said, bring that person to me. He seems to be very wise. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُ الرَّسُولُ. But when the messenger from the king came to Yousaf, قَالَ إِرْجِعْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ. He said, go back to your king, to your master, to your lord. فَاسْأَلْهُ. And ask him, مَا بَالُ النِّسْوَةِ اللَّاتِي قَطَّعْنَ أَيْدِيَهُنَّ. What about the women who cut their hands? I was blamed for that. I was imprisoned for that, without the charge being proved against me. But at least that was said to be the case. So unless I am absolved, and I am honorably acquitted of that charge, I am not ready to get out of this prison. Inna Rabbi bikaydihinna alim. Verily, my Lord knows about their machinations, whatever they did. I didn't do anything wrong. قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُنَّ. Now the king gathered all of them. And he asked them, مَا خَطْبُكُنَّ إِذْ رَاوَدتُّنَّ يُوسُفَ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. What was the matter with you when you solicited and you wanted to and tried to seduce Yusuf? قُلْنَا حَاشَا لِلَّهِ. They said, by Allah, the blameless. مَا عَلِمْنَا عَلَيْهِ مِنْ سُوءٍ. We don't know, we have no knowledge of anything evil about him. قَالَتْ امْرَأَةُ الْعَزِيزِ. And now, the wife of that chief minister or the chief executive officer, he spoke out. الْآنَ حَصْحَصَ الْحَقِّ. Now that the truth has come out, أَنَا رَاوَدتُّهُ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. I confess that I was trying to seduce him. وَإِنَّهُ لَمِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. And he is absolutely, he is true, he was not a sinner. ذَلِكَ لِيَعْلَمَ أَنِّي لَمْ أَخُنْهُ بِالْغَيْبِ. Now about these two ayat, following two ayat, there's very difference of opinion as to who said these words. The continuity of this text, that demands that these are also the sayings of the same woman. But people usually think that these words appear to be coming from a very knowledgeable and a person who believes in Allah and everything. And that woman was not of that character or that level or that stature. And these words, they are befitting only for Yusuf, alayhi salatu wasalam. So one way of interpretation is that Hazrat Yusuf said that I didn't want to expose these women, but I did want that I should be honorably acquitted. ذَلِكَ لِيَعْلَمَ أَنِّي لَمْ أَخُنُ بِالْغَيْبِ. So that he knows, he should come to know who? The Al-Aziz, the husband of that woman should come to know that I didn't betrayed him and betrayed his trust in his absence. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي الْكَيْدَ الْخَائِنِينَ. And I very well know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to make the guile of the betrayers successful. وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي. At the same time, I don't declare my soul to be sinless and that it is all free from anything low. إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. Verily, the animal self in man commands him to something evil. إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. From here we derive the word nafs ammara. And that is not the self, the higher self. We have two selves within us, the spiritual self and the animal self, the animal soul and the divine spirit. These are two different things. We have a composite existence. So now the baser self, as we call it, or in Freudian terminology, the id or libido, well, all these lusts and desires, sensual gratification, they emerge from that baser self. So I don't absolve myself, because the baser self in every human being urges him for something evil. إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ رَبِّي. Except the one whom the Lord has shown mercy. Inna Rabbi Ghafurur Rahim. Verily, my Lord is forgiving and merciful. Now these words, they are befitting to Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. But some of the exegetes, because the continuity of the text that demands that these words are of wife of Al-Aziz. Maybe that during these 10 years, she might have been transformed. And she might have reformed herself. And this seems to be, most of the people believe in it, that although she had all the evil designs before that, but now 10 years had passed. And during this period might be that she had made tawbah, repented, reformed her, and she had become attained such level of knowledge. Maybe. We can't say. وَقَالَ الْمَلِكُ أُوتُونِي. Now this is to what I was referring by the context. Now the proceedings of the court are going on. And Hazrat Yusuf has not as yet come to the court according to the sequence of this ayat. وَقَالَ الْمَلِكُ أُوتُونِي بِهِ. Now when all this thing was cleared, in the absence of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam in the court of the king, he said, oh, bring him to me. أَسْتَخْلِصْهُ لِنَفْسِي. I will reserve him for myself. Such a noble man of such a high character, I will keep him with me exclusively. فَلَمَّا كَلَّمَهُ. And when he came and they had a dialogue, قَالَ إِنَّكَ الْيَوْمَ لَدَيْنَا مَكِينٌ أَمِينٌ. The king said, oh Yusuf, from this day you will be high in rank near us and a fully trusted person. You will hold a very high position in my court. قَالَ اجْعَلْنِي عَلَىٰ خَزَائِنِ الْأَرْضِ. Because Hazrat Yousaf now had the knowledge what is going to happen, what catastrophe is going to come to this land. So he said, قَالَ اجْعَلْنِي عَلَىٰ خَزَائِنِ الْأَرْضِ. Now put me in charge of all the storehouses of the land. Inni hafizun alim. I am the best keeper and I am a knowledgeable person. I know how to manage things and I will do it, inshallah. So he knew it, and from here some of the ulama, they deduce that if a person knows that he can deliver the goods, he can offer himself for some office. Generally it is believed that nobody should offer himself for an office, because to aspire for office is not good. It is really not good. If you are aspiring for any office or any position for your own sake, but if your intentions are that the problem which is going to be faced, you have the know-how and the expertise and you can deliver the goods, then you shouldn't keep back and you should offer yourself. So this is the place from where those ulama, they take the argument and they infer. Because he said, Ijalni ala khaza'in al-ard. Now place me in charge and authority over all the storehouses of the land. Inni hafizun alim. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ. And this way, we established Yusuf in the land. يَتَبَوَّأُ مِنْهَا حَيْثُ يَشَاءُ. Enjoying authority as, when and where he liked. نُصِيبُ بِرَحْمَتِنَا مَنْ نَشَاءُ. We bestow our mercy on whomsoever we like. وَلَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And we are never going to let the reward or recompense of the good doers go in waste. وَلَأَجْرُ الْآخِرَةِ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. And surely the recompense or reward of the akhirah, of the hereafter, is much better for those who believe and who have been fearing Allah, who have been having proper regard for Him. Now another 8 to 10 years have passed between these two ayat, 57 and 58. Now again a pause of about 10 years or 9 years or 8 years at least. 7 years went okay, normal harvest, whatever was being reaped, most of it was taken into the storehouses, stored, except the rationing given to the people, the lesser the better. Now the famine starts, and it is the 8th year now when the famine starts, and it is proved in history. It was a very widespread famine. It affected not only the Egypt, but the adjoining areas of Palestine and Syria. And now Hazrat Yaqub, along with his 11 sons, he was residing in Palestine. And here Yousaf was in Egypt. But the drought was so severe and the famine was so widespread that this affliction came to them also. But they came to learn that, well, in Egypt there is a king and he, has a minister or someone who manages the things, and he is kind enough and he can give grain and foodstuffs to other people also. So they used to come and get from there some grain. وَجَاءَ إِخْوَةُ يُوسُف. Now the brothers of Yusuf came. فَدَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ. They presented him before Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Who are you? This is our land, and these grains we have stored for ourselves. You don't deserve it. So, because it was an unusual thing, so they had to be presented that there some people have come from far away and they want, that some grains should be issued to them. فَعَرَفَهُمْ. He recognized them. Oh, they are my brothers. وَهُمْ لَهُ مُنْكِرُونَ. But they couldn't recognize him. وَلَمَّا جَهَّزَهُمْ بِجَهَازِهِمْ. And when he had provided them with the provisions, قَالَوْ تُونِي بِأَخٍ لَكُمْ. Now they were 10. Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam had not let Binyamin go with them. It seems that for every family, some mayor fixed this much amount, this much weight will be allowed as a ration for 1 year for each family. So now 10 of them, they came and they said, another family, another brother who is there behind, he has not come with us. He said, okay, but this time when you come, you bring that brother also. وَلَمَّا جَهَّزَهُمْ بِجَهَازِهِمْ قَالُوا ائْتُونِي بِأَخٍ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَبِيكُمْ. Bring to me the brother you have from your father, not your mother's, but your father. أَلَا تَرَوْنَ أَنِّي أُوفِي الْكَيْلِ. Don't you see that I fill the measure? وَأَنَا خَيْرُ الْمُنْزَلِينَ. I am the best of the hosts. فَإِلَمْ تَعْتُونِي بِهِ. If you don't bring him to me, فَلَا كَيْلَ لَكُمْ عِنْدِي. Then you won't find any measure of these grains with me. وَلَا تَقْرَبُونَ, and don't approach me. Don't come to me at all. قَالُوا سَنُرَاوِدُ عَنْهُ أَبَاهُ وَإِنَّا لَفَاعِلُونَ. They said, we shall try to entice our father. Now he has become very careful about Binyamin, because what had happened to Yousaf, so he was over careful now. But we'll try to entice him. And we'll do it. Inshallah, we shall be able to do it. وَقَالَ لِفِتْيَانِهِ جَعَلُوا بِضَاعَتَهُمْ فِي رِحَالِهِمْ. And he, that is Yousaf, said to his boys, Fityanihi, who were working, measuring and giving, rations, distributing, he said, put their merchandise in their own saddlebags. Now, what price they could offer? People of the desert, coming from the desert, might be some skins of animals, some wool, something of this sort. They had brought as to pay as a price. So he said, okay, whatever they had brought, put them back, put these things in their saddlebags. So that, فِي رِحَالِهِمْ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَعْرِفُونَهَا إِذَا انْقَلَبُوا إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِمْ. So that when they go back to their families, they remember it. And they recognize it. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. So that they will come again. That he was so gracious to us. He gave us the ration and the grains, and then he returned to us our merchandise. فَلَمَّا رَجَعُوا إِلَىٰ أَبِيهِمْ قَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا. And when they returned back to their father, Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, قَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا. They said, O our father, مُنِعَ مِنَّ الْكَيْلِ. One measure has been denied to us. Because he said, if you have another brother, bring him here, then only I will give his part, his portion of the ration. فَأَرْسِلْ مَعَنَا أَخَانَا. So please send with us our brother Binyamin. Naqtal, we shall have another mayor. وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. And we shall protect him fully. قَالَ هَلْ آمَنُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ إِلَّا كَمَا أَمِنْتُكُمْ عَلَىٰ أَخِيهِ. He said, should I entrust him to you, just as I entrusted his brother to you before? فَاللَّهُ خَيْرٌ حَافِظًا. Allah is the best protector. وَهُوَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. The most merciful of all the mercifuls. فَلَمَّا فَتَحُوا مَتَاعَهُمْ. And now when they opened goods, وَجَدُوا بِضَاعَتَهُمْ رُدَّةٍ. And they found their merchandise returned to them. قَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا مَا نَبْغِي. Now again they said, oh our father, what can we desire more? هَذِهِ بِضَاعَتُنَا رُدَّتْ إِلَيْنَا. Our own merchandise has been returned to us. وَنَمِيرُ أَهْلَنَا وَنَحْفَظُ أَخَانَا. And we shall get provision for our family and guard our brother. وَنَسْدَادُ كَيْلَ بَعِيرٍ. And shall get an extra measure of a camel's load. ذَلِكَ كَيْلٌ يَسِيرٌ. And this is a very easy thing to get, another measure. So please send our brother with us. قَالَ لَنْ أُرْسِلَهُ مَعَكُمْ. He said, no, I am not at all going to send him with you. حَتَّى تُؤْتُونِ مَوْثِقًا مِّنَ اللَّهِ. Until you have a solemn pledge by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَتَعْتُنَّنِي بِهِ. That you will definitely bring him back to me. إِلَّا يُحَاكَ بِكُمْ. Except that you are all rendered helpless. You are all encircled. Then it is something else. But never come to me without him. And you have to give me this solemn pledge. فَلَمَّا آتَوْهُ مَوْثِقَهُمْ. When they gave him his solemn pledge, قَالَ اللَّهُ عَلَى مَا نَقُولُ وَكِيلٌ. Then he said, okay, now Allah is the witness and guardian over what we are saying. This is an agreement. وَقَالَ يَا بَنِيَّ. And he said, oh my sons, لَا تَدْخُلُوا مِنْ بَابٍ وَاحِدٍ. Don't enter that city from one gate. Because people will say, 11 are coming. So actually, maybe they feel some jealousy in their minds, 11 brothers together. So, وَادْخُلُوا مِنْ أَبْوَابٍ مُتَفَرَّقَةٍ. So you enter the town from different gates, 2 from this, 3 from this, so that you don't appear to be a big, group. وَمَا أَغْنِي عَنْكُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. I cannot save you from Allah anything. إِنِ الْحُكْمُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. All authority is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. عَلَيْهِ تَوَكَّلْتُ. On him I have placed all my trust and faith. وَعَلَيْهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُتَوَكِّلُونَ. And surely on him should all the believers and all those who want to put any trust, in him should they put their trust. وَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ أَمَرَهُمْ أَبُوهُمْ. And when they entered from where their father had asked them to enter, مَا كَانَ يُغْنِي عَنْهُ مِنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. Yaqub couldn't save them from Allah anything. إِلَّا حَاجَةً فِي نَفْسِ يَعْقُوبَ قَضَاهَا. Except that it was only a craving in Yaqub's heart, and he satisfied it. وَإِنَّهُ لَذُو عِلْمٍ لِمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ. And he knew all the knowledge we had given to him. The knowledge which we gave, he had it. The knowledge which we didn't give, didn't have it. So it appears that the knowledge which was given was that Yousaf is alive and he will return to you. But the knowledge which was not given where he is, he didn't know. And that was going to be very hard for him for so many long years. And if you feel, and if you know that your son has died, you have buried him, after some days you have the patience and you just forget. But knowing he is living, but not knowing where he is, in what conditions he is. Maybe he is a slave, maybe he is being put to hardships. So these things, they were bothering Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam very much. And due to this grief and sorrow, he had lost his eyesight. He had become blind, practically blind, weeping and weeping and weeping, because he knew he is alive. But where he is, and in what condition he is, don't know. إِنَّهُ لَذُو إِلْمٍ لِمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. But most of the people don't know. وَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا عَلَى يُوسُفَ آوَى إِلَيْهِ أَخَاهُ. And when they entered on Yousaf alayhi salatu wassalam, he called his brother to him privately. قَالَ إِنِّي أَنَا أَخُوكَ. And he said, I am your brother. فَلَا تَبْتَئِسْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Now don't remain disheartened with what they have been doing. Those days are now gone, because they must have been doing bad to Binyamin also, the character that they had. So he said, okay, I am your brother and you will stay with me, and now your days of suffering are gone. فَلَمَّا جَهَّدَهُمْ بِجَهَازِهِمْ. Now then when he has provided them with the provisions, جَعَلَ السِّقَايَةَ فِي رَحْلِ أَخِيهِ. Yousaf himself placed the drinking cup in his brother's saddlebag. Now the caravan was to depart. All the 11 brothers had to go, but Yousaf had placed himself, a cup, and must be of gold. It was king's drinking cup. He put it in the saddlebag of Benjamin. ثُمَّ أَذَّنَ مُؤَذِّنٌ. Now the servants there, the boys working there, didn't know. But any one of them, he cried out, أَيَّتُهَا الْعِيرُ إِنَّكُمْ لَسَارِقُونَ. O cameliers, O people of the camels, you are thieves. قَالُوا وَأَقْبَلُوا عَلَيْهِمْ مَاذَا تَفْقِدُونَ. And they said, turning to them, what are you missing? قَالُوا نَفْقِدُ صُوَاعَ الْمَلِكِ. They said, we are missing the drinking cup of the king. وَلِمَنْ جَاءَ بِهِ حِمْلُ بَعِيرٍ. Whosoever brings it back, we shall be punished. So actually, whosoever can bring us back, for him, حِمْلُ بَعِيرٍ, another camel load of grain would be granted. وَأَنَا بِهِ زَعِيمٌ. And I am responsible. I take the responsibility. قَالُوا تَاللَّهِ لَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمْ مَا جِئْنَا لِنُفْسِدَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. They said, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you very well know that we have not come here to make mischief in the land. وَمَا كُنَّا سَارِقِينَ. And we are not thieves. We have come here to get the grains. How can we be thieves? قَالُوا فَمَا جَزَاهُ إِن كُنْتُمْ كَاذِبِينَ. They said, then what should be the punishment of the person if you are telling lie? قَالُوا جَزَاهُ مَنْ وُجِدَ فِي رَحْلِهِ فَهُوَ جَزَاهُ. They themselves said, okay, the person in whose sack this drinking cup can be found, he himself will be the exchange of it. You can keep that person with you as a slave. كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الظَّالِمِينَ. And this is our method of punishing the thieves, the evildoers. فَبَدَا بِأَوْعِيَتِهِمْ قَبْلَ وِعَاءِ أَخِيهِمْ. Now Hazrat Yousaf alayhi salatu wasalam began searching their sacks. And he searched the sacks of other brothers before the sack of his own brother, his real, total brother, his aini brother, Binyamin. ثُمَّ اسْتَخْرَجَهَا مِنْ وِعَاءِ أَخِيهِ. Then he took it out from the sack of his brother. كَذَلِكَ كِدْنَا لِيُوسُفَ. Now this is an apology from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yousaf didn't do it on his own. It would have been sort of, deceiving people. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him the permission. He had given him this way, shown him this way. And because this was, Allah knew, this is not going to do any harm to anybody. Even that this Binyamin, he will be saved of the torture, of the persecution of the brothers. He will remain here with the brother. He will be, in comfort. In the long run, Allah knew beforehand what is going to happen. It will be not harmful for anybody. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He commanded Yousaf to do. كَذَلِكَ كِدْنَا لِيُوسُفَ. We contrived for Yousaf in this way. مَا كَانَ لِيَأْخُذَ أَخَاهُ فِي دِينِ الْمَلِكِ. It was not possible for him to retain his brother according to the law of the king. This ayah is one of the most important ayat to understand the essential meaning of deen. Deen al-Malik. The system of governance in that land at that time was of monarchy. What is monarchy? One person holding the authority. Whatever he says becomes the law because he is sovereign. Now there was a law. Hazrat Yousaf alayhi salam was occupying an authoritative position in that system, under that constitution. He was not himself the king. He was not the sovereign. Sovereign was the king who had seen that vision. And he had called back Hazrat Yousaf alayhi salam from the prison and placed him at that position. He owed that position to the king. Now the laws were of the king, not of Hazrat Yousaf alayhi salam. So it was the system of governance in that country that was of monarchy. Now Deenul Malik, compare it with Deenullah. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. Deenul Malik, Deenullah. Deenul Awam, Deenul Malik, the system where sovereignty belongs to a person king. Deenul Awam, democracy. A system where sovereignty belongs to the masses, popular sovereignty. Deenullah, a whole system of life where sovereignty belongs to Allah. So these three words you must keep in mind. What is deen? Deen is a whole system of life under some sovereignty. Sovereignty can be of a person. Sovereignty can be of the nation. And sovereignty can be of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is Deenullah. Islam is Deenullah. Inna deena indallahi al-Islam. That is Deenullah. And this is Deenul Jamhur. So to say, this is the Deen of Jamhur, the Deen of the masses. Because they have, theoretically speaking at least, they have their sovereignty. مَا كَانَ لِيَأْخُذْ أَخَاهُ فِي دِينِ الْمَلِكِ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. Except if Allah commands, نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَنْ نَشَاءُ. We raise in rank whomsoever we like. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. And over every knowledgeable person there is someone more knowledgeable. And above all knowing is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now what was the reaction? These people had not reformed themselves up till now, even after the passage of so much time. قَالُوا إِن يَسْرِقْ فَقَدْ سَرَقَ أَخٌ لَهُ مِنْ قَبْلِ. Now if this Binyamin has committed a theft, a brother of his had also committed theft before. So they were blaming, in addition to Binyamin, blaming Yousaf even. فَأَسَرَّهَا يُوسُفُ فِي نَفْسِهِ. So, but Yousaf kept it hidden in his heart. He didn't retort. But he said in his heart, وَلَمْ يُبْدِهَا لَهُمْ. He didn't say so openly to them. He said so in his heart. قَالَ أَلْتُمْ شَرٌّ مَكَانًا. You are worst in this status, in this position. وَاللَّهُ عَالَمٌ بِمَا تَصِفُونَ. Allah very well knows what you are saying. You are absolutely giving a false accusation against me. No, I know that I never committed a theft. And you are saying that his brother also committed a theft. If he committed a theft, it's nothing unexpected because his brother also committed a theft. So they were still at that low level of meanness. قَالُوا يَا أَيُّهَا الْعَزِيزُ إِنَّ لَهُ أَبًا شَيْخًا كَبِيرًا. They said, "Oh Aziz, he has a father and he is very old. شَيْخًا كَبِيرًا فَخُذْ أَحَدَنَا مَكَانَهُ." You keep any one of us in his place. إِنَّا نَرَاكَ مِنَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. We see you that you are a good doer. You behave with people gently. So please accept our request that you detain him. If he committed the theft, according to what we said, he can be detained here. But please don't detain him. Any one of us you like, detain him. قَالَ مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ أَن نَأْخُذَ إِلَّا مَن وَجَدْنَا مَتَاعَنَا عِندَهُ إِنَّا إِذًا لَّظَالِمُونَ. He said, well, we take refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we should seize a person, except one in whose sake we found our material, our property. If we do this, well, we shall be evildoers. He has done it by Allah's permission, to retain Hazrat Binyamin. فَلَمَّا اسْتَيْأَسُوا مِنْهُ, when they were disappointed from him that he is not going to let Binyamin go now, خَلَصُوا نَجِيًّا, now they conferred and they consulted each other privately. قَالَ كَبِيرُهُمْ, the eldest of them said, أَلَمْ تَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ أَبَاكُمْ قَدْ أَخَذَ عَلَيْكُمْ مَوْثِقًا مِنَ اللَّهِ, don't you remember? Your father got from you a solemn pledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمِن قَبْلُ مَا فَرَّطْتُمْ فِي يُوسُف, and just remember what excesses you did to Yousaf before. He was the eldest and the kindest among them. He is the one who said, لَا تَقْتُلُوا يُوسُفَ. If you are bent upon doing something to him, throw him in some well so that he doesn't die. No, some caravan should come and take him out and take him away from you. If you are bent upon doing something, but don't kill him. And the same now he is blaming them. مَا فَرَّطُمْ فِي يُوسُفَ فَلَنْ أَبْرَحَ اللَّهُ, I am not going to depart from this land حَتَّى يَأْذَنَ لِي أَبِي, until and unless my father gives me an express permission. أَوْ يَحْكُمَ اللَّهُ لِي, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides something else for me. Maybe he sends death to me in this land, but I am not going to face my father without Binyamin. وَهُوَ خَيْرُ الْحَاكِمِينَ, and surely Allah is the best of the judges. ارجعوا إلى أبيكم, now you go back to your father. ارجعوا إلى أبيكم فقولوا يا أبانا, and tell him, O our father, إن ابنك سرق, verily your son committed a theft. وما شهدنا إلا ما علمنا, and we can't give any testimony except what we have come to know. We can't say whether it is correct or wrong, but these are the facts of the case. وما كنا للغيب حافظين, we are not guardians over the unseen. What has actually happened, we don't know. وَاسْأَلِ الْقَرْيَةَ الَّتِي كُنَّا فِيهَا, you can ask the town in which we were. وَالْعِيرَ الَّتِي أَقْبَلْنَا فِيهَا, you ask the caravan, the people in the caravan with which we have returned. إِنَّا لَصَادِقُونَ, whatever we are saying is true. قَالَ بَلْ صَبَّرْتَ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ أَمْرًا, Hazrat Yaqub said the same words. Your minds have enticed you to invent the matter. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ, again I will have patience, and in a beautiful way. عَسَى اللَّهُ أَنْ يَأْتِيَنِي بِهِمْ جَمِيعًا, this he knew. Yousaf is also alive. عَسَى اللَّهُ, I hope. It's just possible that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings to me both of them together. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْحَلِيمُ الْحَكِيمُ, verily he is all-knowing, all-wise. وَتَوَلَّى عَنْهُمْ, and he just turned away from them. وَقَالَ يَا أَسَفَ عَلَى يُوسُف, and he said, alas, oh my grief for Yousaf. Note here, again he is lamenting for Yousaf. Although the fresh shock was for Binyamin, but the love for Hazrat Yousaf alayhi salatu wasalam was so much deep in the heart of Hazrat Yaqub that even here he is mentioning Yousaf. Ya Asafa ala Yousaf, وَابْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ, and due to the grief, his eyes had become white. Huwa kazim, and he was withholding and choking within him the grief. قَالُوا تَاللَّهِ تَفْتَعُ تَذْكُرُ يُوسُفَ حَتَّى تَكُونَ حَرَضًا أَوْ تَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُهْلِكِينَ. They said, by Allah, you will not cease remembering Yousaf till you become exhausted or you become dead. قَالَ إِنَّمَا أَشْكُو بَثِّي وَحُزْنِي إِلَى اللَّهِ, he said, I am complaining of my grief and sorrow only to Allah. I am saying nothing to you. Why do you stop me? إِنَّمَا أَشْكُو بَثِّي وَحُزْنِي إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَالَمُ مِنَ اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ, and I know from Allah what you don't know. I know that Yousaf is alive. I know that he will come to me again. And that is why I have all this grief. Ya baniya izhabu fatahassasu min Yusuf wa akhihi, oh my sons, go and search for Yousaf and his brother. Wala tayyasu min rahillah, don't despair from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Innahu la yayyasu min rahillah illa al-qawmul kafirun, verily only the people who disbelieve, they become despaired and disappointed from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ قَالُوا يَا أَيُّهَا الْعَزِيزُ, now it's a very pitiable position. Now when they came and they presented themselves to Yousaf alayhi salatu wassalam, قَالُوا يَا أَيُّهَا الْعَزِيزُ, they said, oh you Aziz, oh you powerful, oh you holding the authority. مَسَّنَا وَأَهْلَنَا الضُّرُّ, affliction has touched us, our families. وَجِئْنَا بِبِضَاعَةٍ مُزْجَاةٍ, and we have brought the merchandise which is of scant worth, no value. Now we have been left with nothing. We can't present anything in exchange. Very little we have to offer as a price for this ration. فَأَوْفِ لَنَا الْكَيْلَ. But you please give us full measures. Don't look to what we have to offer. You please give us the full measures. وَتَصَدَّقَ عَلَيْنَا. And be charitable to us. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَجْزِي الْمُتَصَدِّقِينَ. Verily Allah rewards the one who makes charity. قَالَ هَلْ عَلِمْتُ. Now this was the time to disclose. He couldn't wait any more. He couldn't see the plight of the brothers. They had gone so, low now. And the condition was so pitiable for Hazrat Yousaf alayhi salam to bear any more. So he disclosed himself. قَالَ هَلْ عَلِمْتُ مَا فَعَلْتُمْ بِيُوسُفَ وَأَخِيهِ إِذْ أَنْتُمْ جَاهِلُونَ. He said, do you recall and remember what you did to Yousaf and his brother when you were ignorant? As if they were not ignorant now. They were ignorant even now, but because he was a gentle person, he didn't want to say that in the face of his brothers. قَالُوا أَإِنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ يُوسُف. Now they say, oh, are you indeed Yousaf? قَالَ أَنَا يُوسُف وَهَذَا أَخِي. He said, yes, I am Yousaf and he is my brother, Benjamin. قَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا. Our Lord has been very gracious upon us. إِنَّهُ مَنْ يَتَّقِي وَيَصْبِرْ. Verily, whosoever has taqwa and regards, proper regard for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remains mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and shows perseverance. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't let the reward of these muhsineen go in waste. قَالُوا تَاللَّهِ لَقَدْ أَثْرَكَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا وَإِن كُنَّا لَخَاطِئِينَ. They said, by God, we swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has indeed chosen you above us. And this is the choice for prophethood. They were all sons of Yaqub. Someone has to be chosen. And it was proved for all of them that actually Yousaf deserves to be chosen. And certainly we have been sinners. قَالَ لَا تَصْرِيبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ. He said, no, there's going to be no reproach upon you this day. يَغْفِرُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. I pray to Allah, He may forgive you. وَهُوَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. And He is the most merciful of all the merciful. اذهبوا بقميصي هذا. Now take this shirt of mine and go with it. Take with you this shirt of mine. فَالْقُوهُ عَلَى وَجْهِ أَبِي. And put it and cast it over the face of my father. يَأْتِ بَصِيرًا. His sight will return. وَأْتُونِي بِأَهْلِكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. And then you bring all your family and bring them to me here. Now they entered. لَمَّا فَصَلَتِ الْعِيرُ. Now when that caravan now left Egypt with that shirt of Hazrat Yousaf, قَالَ أَبُوهُمْ. And now in Canaan, Hazrat Yaqub, their father said, إِنِّي لَأَجِدُ رُيحَ يُوسُف. I find and I feel, I perceive the scent of Yousaf. لَوْلَا أَن تُفَنِّدُونَ. Only if you don't think that I have been dementiated due to old age. So I have gone crazy, dementiated. But I am feeling and perceiving the scent of Yousaf. قَالُوا تَاللَّهِ إِنَّكَ لَفِي ضَلَالِكَ الْقَدِيمِ. They said, oh, verily, by Allah, you are in your error, your old error. You think that he is alive. He has gone, long away. فَلَمَّا أَنْ جَاءَ الْبَشِيرُ أَلْقَاهُ عَلَى وَجْهِهِ فَارْتَدَّ بَصِيرًا. Now when the bearer of the glad tidings came and he cast the shirt of Yousaf on his face, he became again seeing. قَالَ أَلَمْ أَقُلْ لَكُمْ إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مِنَ اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. He said, didn't I say to them that I know from Allah what you don't know? قَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا اسْتَغْفِرْ لَنَا ذُنُوبَنَا. They said, oh, our father, thou ask forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us, for our sins. إِنَّا كُنَّا خَاطِئِينَ. Verily, we were the sinners. قَالَ سَوْفَ أَسْتَغْفِرُ لَكُمْ. Now he is not Safa. He didn't ask the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there and then, at the same time, immediately. He just promised, okay, after some time. Safa is for future. I will do it, okay. But he was angry. So immediately he didn't ask the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Safa astaghfiru lakum rabbi. Okay, I will ask the forgiveness of my Lord for you. Inna huwa al-ghafur rahim. Verily, He is merciful and He is forgiving. فَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا عَلَى يُوسُفَ آوَى إِلَيْهِ أَبَوَيْهِ. Now when all of them entered Egypt and when they presented themselves to Yousaf, he raised his parents, father and mother, to his throne. وَقَالَ ادْخُلُوا مِصْرَ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ آمِنِينَ. And he welcomed them. Now enter Misr. If Allah so decrees, you will have peace here. You will have all rest, security. Now note this also point of political importance. Because the king was not an Egyptian, alien king, so that was also advisable for him to have some alien force over there. So he actually welcomed and he settled them down in the best areas of Egypt. The best, the most fertile lands were given to them. Okay, come here, settle. So that he has a force. If there is some rebellion, uprising among the locals, then he can have a support. And that is why these people, Bani Israel, their progeny, they enjoyed the best of comforts. They were the most fortunate people. They had the best lands. And they had all the support of that king and his family. And that is why they were very prosperous. They multiplied in number. But there was, after a few hundred years, there was a local revolt, a revolution. Then the sons of the soil came up. Now for them, these people were the worst people, because they had supported and they were a source of support for those alien rulers who were not Egyptians originally, who were alien rulers for Egyptians. And he raised his parents on the throne and they prostrated before, they fell before him in prostration. وَقَالَ يَا أَبَتِ هَذَا تَأْوِيلُ رُؤْيَايَ مِنْ قَبْلُ. And Yousaf said, oh, my father, this is the ta'wil, this is the end, and this is the interpretation of my dream that I saw much earlier. قَدْ جَعَلَهَا رَبِّي حَقًّا. My Lord, my Rabb, has made it true. وَقَدْ أَحْسَنَ بِي إِذْ أَخْرَجَنِي مِنَ السِّجْنِ. And he was very gracious to me when he brought me forth from the prison. وَجَاءَ بِكُم مِنَ الْبَدْوِ. And in the same way, he is very gracious that he has brought you from that desert. وَمِن بَعْدِ أَن نَزَغَ الشَّيْطَانُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ إِخْوَتِي. After the Satan had inflicted a strife between me and my brothers. Inna Rabbi latifun lima yasha. My Lord is very subtle to whatever He commands and whatever He wants to accomplish, nobody can obstruct Him. Innahu huwal alimul hakim. Verily, He is the all-knowing, all-wise. Rabbi qad ataytani min al-mulk. Now he is praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh my Lord, you have given me this power to rule the land. وَعَلَّمْتَنِي مِنْ تَعْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. And it is you who taught me the interpretation of all things, all sayings, all visions, all incidents, all accidents. فَاطِرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Oh, the originator of the heavens and the earth. أَنْتَ وَلِيِّي فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. You are my protector, even in this world and also in the hereafter. تَوَفَّنِي مُسْلِمًا. So please make me die as a Muslim. Protect me that I don't go away or go back from Islam and Iman. Keep me a Muslim till my death. وَأَلْحِقْنِي بِالصَّالِحِينَ. And then you join me with your righteous persons, bondsmen. ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الْغَيْبِ نُوحِي إِلَيْكَ. Now this is from the news of the unseen that we are relating to you, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We are revealing to you. وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ. You were not with them, is ajma'u amrahum, when they had decided and agreed upon their plot to put Hazrat Yousaf alayhi salam into the well. Wahum yamkurun, and they were plotting. وَمَا أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. Although for these people who asked this question, this should suffice. This should be sufficient for them to reveal to them that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. And all these news are coming to him from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It should be sufficient. وَمَا أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. But even if you are very desirous, very keen, most of the people will not come to believe. وَمَا تَصَلُهُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ. And you are not asking for them any reward. إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. It is nothing but a reminding for all the nations of the world. وَكَأَيٍّ مِّنْ آيَةٍ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ يَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهَا وَهُمْ عَنْهَا مُعْرِضُونَ. And how many signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His unity, His attributes are there in the heaven and the earth, and they pass over them, pass by them. وَهُمْ عَنْهَا مُعْرِضُونَ. But they don't ponder over them. They turn their faces away from that. وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ أَكْثَرُهُمْ بِاللَّهِ إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. Another very great, very important ayah. And most of them don't believe in Allah, except doing some sort of shirk also. This is applicable to us also, if we deep down into our hearts, and what beliefs we have, and if we interpret what our actions are, we'll find that we are also committing shirk. But only we have to know what shapes and what forms this shirk can take. What was the shirk of the ancient times? What is the shirk of the modern time? I have a 2 hours recording on this subject, different forms of shirk. أَفَأَمِنُوا أَنْ يَأْتِيَهُمْ عَاشِرٌ مِّنْ عَذَابِ اللَّهِ. Are these people secure that to them cannot come a covering from the chastisement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? أَوْ تَأْتِيَهُمُ السَّاعَةُ. Or to him the appointed hour, that Qiyamah might come baghtatan, suddenly. وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. And they will not be perceiving it, they will not be apprehending it. قُلْ هَٰذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَىٰ بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي. Say to them, this is my way. I am calling towards Allah, and I am calling not blindly, with sure knowledge. This is most important. هَٰذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَىٰ بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي. Not only me, also who are following me, they are not following blindly, they are following knowingly. وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. And all glory is for Allah, and I am not an associator. I am not from among the associators. I don't associate anyone, anything with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in any respect. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ إِلَّا رِجَالًا نُوحِي إِلَيْهِمْ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْقُرَىٰ. And we didn't send before you to all these towns messengers, but they were men. They were humans. أَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Have they not moved in the earth, traveled in the land? فَيَنْظُرُوا كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. And see for themselves what was the end of those who were before them. وَلَدَارُ الْآخِرَةِ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا. And surely the house of hereafter is much better for those who have taqwa, who believe in Allah, who regard Him. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. So don't you understand? حَتَّى إِذَا اسْتَيَّسَ الرُّسُلُ. Until when the messengers got despaired. Despaired of what? Not of Allah's help, but that the nation is not going to believe anymore. No one else is going to believe now from among them. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. We have read it in Surah Hud. That, O Nuh, nobody else is now going to believe in you, except those who have already believed. Hatta idha istayyasa rusul. When the messengers of Allah became despaired of the people that they are not going to believe, وَظَنُّوا أَنَّهُمْ قَدْ كُذِبُوا. And people also thought that they were told lies. When they were saying, they were told that a chastisement will come, a azab will come, you will be destroyed, and so many years have passed, no azab has come, and he thought also that all it was lie. It was not, it was false threats, nothing else. Ja'ahum nasruna. Then our help came to them, to the messengers. فَنُجِّيَ مَن نَشَاءُ. So whomsoever we please, he was saved. وَلَا يُرَدُّ بَأْسُنَا عَنِ الْقَوْمِ الْمُجْرِمِينَ. And our chastisement could not be averted. Our wrath could not be averted from the guilty. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ عِبْرَةٌ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. O you people of understanding, for you there is a lesson in their tales. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ عِبْرَةٌ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. مَا كَانَ حَدِيثًا يُفْتَرَى. This Quran is not something which could be forged by men. وَلَكِنْ تَصْدِيقَ الَّذِي بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. It is the divine word, and it confirms that is present before it. وَتَفْسِيرَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. And it has all the details for the guidance. وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ. And it is the guidance and the mercy of Allah for those who believe. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم.